Welcome to another Gateways for Seniors program. Today our topic is the top 5 questions that every human resource professional is asked. And our guest is Danielle Fuller, Director of Human Resources for Gateways Community Services. Hi Danielle, thanks for being here.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Sure, let me ask you a question. I'm sure that it's a question that you and many other human resource directors face all the time. How do you help employees address caregiving issues, especially when you know it's at the point where it's impacting their work?
Well, when issues impact their work, we're challenged in setting boundaries between work-related issues and home life issues.
Sure.
And here at Gateways and many other companies, we offer an employee assistance program, which is commonly known as an EAP. An EAP can offer resources to employees to better understand what their caregiving needs are, their responsibilities, to kind of manage through some of their own struggles that they're facing, both with the challenge of taking care of their own family, themselves, and then potentially a parent or another loved one.
Do you find that many employees, when they come to you about this, are surprised to find out that these kind of resources exist?
Some are, some aren't. The EAP is highly publicized in our organization. Many times they just come to say, is this a good resource that we can use? Kind of looking for validation that it's a good resource. Some employees are surprised that these resources do exist, so I would recommend many people checking into their HR department to see what kind of benefits and resources are available.
So make that your first step before it begins to impact your work if you're an employee.
That's correct. The company's human resources departments usually have a plethora of resources, the EAP just being one of them.
Well, I know that employees sometimes are reluctant maybe to speak to their supervisor because it's a very personal issue in some ways and certainly has an impact at work. How do you advise them that they talk to their supervisor and explain their family caregiving problems?
We recommend always to have an open relationship with their supervisor. To have open communication helps get through work-related issues and that work balance issues. Many times supervisors might have already approached me and said, I'm concerned about this employee. Help me start the conversation as well. When the employee comes to me and says, how do I have this conversation? It's just putting the steps in place to begin that conversation, to open up the door, to relate it to how it's impacting their work, how they're still committed to their work, and how they could work out work schedules, look at other resources before it becomes a larger issue.
Well, I know I've had supervisors tell me that, sometimes they think an employee maybe has lost interest in their job or isn't able to do their job, but they can see that performance is suffering, and many supervisors are just glad to know that there is in fact a reason for it and that maybe that they can help resolve it.
That's true, because once you know what the root cause of an issue is, it's easier to plan and to structure plans around it to help resolve it. And most supervisors want to have a work-life balance. I mean, they want it themselves, they want it for their employees, they know how important a cohesive work group is, so they'll help with finding those answers and structuring maybe a flexible work schedule or a modified work schedule, or perhaps allowing them time to seek out those resources to deal with their caregiving needs.
And I think many people are surprised to find out that they're not alone. They're not the only ones who are facing these kinds of issues today, and it's not something, if you go to human resources or your supervisor, that they've never heard of before.
Oh, that is correct. I mean, I can speak from personal example myself. Caregiving from afar for my own mother and my own
Sure.
in-laws, and sharing those experiences, again, it just shows that, we're all facing these challenges.
It's the modern world we live in, and a lot of things are changing, and the nature of work and the challenges that our employees have to face. Those change too.
They do, yes.
Well, let me ask you, we know there's many caregiving stressors that can take time out of a workday, even for the best employee. Like, how do I tell my father he can't drive anymore, which is my personal favorite because I've done that one. Are there any ways that you help or can help a worker with those kind of challenges?
In our organization, it's almost applying everyday skills to your home situation or your caregiving situation.
Sure.
Is have an open ear and listen. Don't just say you have the answer or give an answer. Allow both of you to come up with some solutions. Identify the problem. Talk openly about the problem. That you're worried. That the reason you're having this conversation is because you care about this individual. You love this individual. You want this individual an active part of your lives, and you don't want their safety to be jeopardized. And again, keep the conversation about what it's about, taking care of their safety, of their daily living needs, so they can have a quality of life that they deserve.
Exactly, and I think we can all relate to that, as someday we may face that same challenge.
How true, how true.
Well, in your HR department, and kind of going back to someone comes in, we mentioned employee assistance and so on. I assume you probably have other resources here at Gateways that you recommend to employees. Anything specific you could share with us?
We mentioned about the employee assistance program, but I often refer people to AARP because they also have a lot of different resources. We also kind of gear people towards possibly a senior case manager or a geriatric care worker to consult with the family. Mm-hmm. We take them to various newsletters, articles. Even our health plan has great workplace wellness about caregiving articles on our health plan side. Not even our EAP side, but on our health plan, there's a lot of information that we direct individuals towards.
Well, let me ask you a benefits-oriented question then, because this is one I've heard any number of times. Can family medical leave be used generally for family caregiving? Is that possible for many companies?
Yes, FMLA is unpaid leave that also provides job protection for up to 12 weeks. Many times work can suffer and time needs to be taken away to take care of the caregiver. FMLA has a provision for that, for you as a caregiver to take care of a family member to be authorized to take this leave.
So it's not just maternity or paternity leave anymore. It really meets us at both sides.
That's correct. It's family. It's that extended family, whether it's a parent or a child. FMLA covers us.
That's great. Well, Danielle, we've reached the end of our time today, but I want to thank you for taking the time from your schedule and your work here at Gateways to meet with us and to share your thoughts. I am quite sure that many of the people that are listening will find these of great value.